What's up, everyone? Today we're going to be taking a look at the Gigabyte Aorus 3080 Master Edition working in RGB 2.0. Yes, it's actually working. I know a lot of people are having trouble getting this to work. My best advice would be to run RGB Fusion if you haven't installed it already. Put your PC into sleep mode while RGB Fusion 2.0 is running, and then wake it back up, and RGB Fusion should then reload, and it should hopefully load up the card. If that doesn't work, I'm going to try to have a tutorial video on how to set it up pretty soon, but to be quite honest, I'm not sure how I got it to work. After 2 weeks of troubleshooting, it just kind of worked. I think the sleep mode trick is actually what got it to kick in. So go ahead and try that if you have everything installed and for some reason it's just not detecting your card, and hopefully that solves it for you. So once the software is working, it's actually quite nice. So I've got two cameras set up here. I know the angles aren't that great. I know the GPU power cables are absolutely disgusting to look at, so my apologies for that. I still need to pick up a cable mod kit, which I've been putting off for a couple of years, but I think it's finally time to do it, especially considering there's an LCD on the side of my GPU now. It's just gonna look a lot better with it. So other than that, I've got a couple cameras set up. Hopefully one doesn't fall down. They're kind of propped up in a not very good way. So not the greatest setup, but hopefully good enough at least to make this video. So yeah, the software is pretty nice when it's working. There are a lot of options for RGB. We have different zones here on this specific card that we'll take a look at, and different settings for each zone. So the first and foremost, the main mode is just a static color. And the nice thing is you don't really need to hit apply to change the settings. You can change them all as you wish. And then once you have a setting that you like, you can hit apply, send it to the card. And then from there, the card should remember those settings, and you shouldn't have to run RGB Fusion 2.0 every time your computer starts, unless you want to make some kind of a change. So the card has 5 different zones. So we've got 3 on the bottom here. We've got 1 on the top, and we have 1 on the side next to the LCD. Then depending what's on the LCD, which we'll take a look at in a little bit, you have a different number of RGB zones for that as well. So you can click on the individual ones. You can highlight multiples, or you can hold control here and select only the ones that you want. And what's cool is you can set a different effect to each zone, so you can go crazy with it. There are so many possibilities with the card, which is really nice. For now, we'll go ahead and select all of them and kind of cycle through the settings here. All right, so now they're all selected, and we've got every option here. Let's just go through them real quick, take a look. So this is the static setting, and for each one you have a speed and brightness setting. So, for static there's no speed, but you can change the brightness, of course. Next one up is pulse. And we can see it's kind of pulsing there. We can change the speed of that, change the color. What's really nice is you can enter the color as a hex value or as an RGB value, or just use the color wheel. So you can pretty much get the card to show any color that you'd like. It looks like one of my cameras is kind of out of focus. There it goes again. Hopefully these things stay in focus. I'm using an iPad Pro and an iPhone 11 Pro Max. So hopefully they stay in focus and everything looks at least decent for the video. Next up, we got flash. So, it's just flashes. You can change the speed again, which is nice. Change the color. Next up, we have double flash, which is very similar to flash, except it just flashes twice with each flash. After that, color cycle, which goes through each color of the rainbow here. So you can't change the color on this one. It's preset to all the colors. But you can change the speed at which it cycles, which is nice. Next up, we've got color shift. And for this one, we can actually change the colors. So I'm pretty sure it's kind of like the color cycle, except you can actually customize the colors. And you can set up to 8 zones here, or 8 different colors rather, which is nice. Right now we've got this one. You can also change the direction for a lot of these. So for directional patterns, you can invert them, which is nice. Go ahead and change some of these. This way they don't look the same there. Next up, we have trace. So that's really cool. You can change customize the colors for this as well, up to 8. And you can also remove them if you don't want all those colors. You can change the direction again, the speed, the brightness. After that, we have gradient, which I kind of like. The only thing I don't really like about this one is it seems like they all have to fade from white. So it'd be cool to have 2 different colors here instead of white into your selected color. But I don't think there's a way of doing that unless I'm just missing it. It seems like only the right side color here changes, and it's always fading to white, but still pretty cool. Next up, we have tricolor. So there's going to be 3 different colors that's going to cycle between. And I think the pattern's a little bit different than the color shift and the color cycle. This one's really nice as well. I do like the default colors here. Next up, we have wave. Again, this is another rainbow one, so you can't change the colors, but it's got a little bit of a different pattern. Again, you can change the speed, brightness, and the direction. And here we have an intelligent profile, so you can monitor different things with it, and it's going to change the color accordingly. So right now it's monitoring GPU temperature. It's green because my GPU temp rather is pretty low at the moment. Since it's not being utilized, you can also change that to GPU usage or GPU fan RPM. And it looks like the colors for this one are preset as well. Can't change any speed or brightness on this one for some reason. It's just a preset brightness. But this is really cool to get some information. Of course, you can also display that on the LCD, as we'll see in a second. And finally, we have just off. So for people that don't want any RGB, you can, of course, go ahead and turn it off. Now, something that's really cool, as I mentioned earlier, is you can set a different effect to each different zone. So I can just select this zone here, which is going to be on the bottom of the card. And we could set that to maybe flash. All right, so we could have that flashing. And then I can go to the middle zone here, which is kind of the light bar underneath the card. And we could set that to maybe a gradient. On the right side of the card underneath, we can set that to, I don't know, maybe a tricolor. And then on top of the card, which is sort of visible in one of the cameras here, just put that to double flash, maybe make it a little bit more visible there. And you can see at the top of the card over here where it says Aorus, it kind of flashes. And then finally on the side of the card next to the LCD, I don't know, hit it with a wave or something. So you can really go crazy with it. It's really cool. You can spend, a ton of time customizing this thing and getting it to look exactly how you want it to. So that's really nice. When it, like I said, when the software is working, it's actually pretty nice. Let's go ahead and just change this to a static color for now, and take a look at the LCD customization. This way it's not flashing in our face. So once we click on here, it's going to bring up a different window. I just put hello YouTube for now when I was testing it out. But let's start at the top. So we have enthusiast 1, 2, and 3 here. They're all going to be very similar. This is to show statistics on the display. So you can select any or all of these statistics and change the interval at which they cycle. So this is in seconds. So right now, every 4 seconds is going to cycle through a different statistic. And what's interesting here is it gives us a couple more RGB zones, so you can customize, each part of the on-screen display here, which is really cool. So you can do something like that. One thing I should mention is the display in the video kind of looks like has a really bright backlight, and it kind of does in real life, but or in person rather, but it doesn't look that bright. So you don't get that faded out backlight as it looks in the video. It looks a lot better in person. So just keep that in mind as well. So that's going to be for LCD Enthusiast 1. Enthusiast 2 is very similar. It just has a different layout. So instead of the Aorus logo here, it says Aorus. So let's go ahead and apply that. You can see that there as well. And you have 3 different RGB zones for that as well. The third one here is, again, same sort of layout, just a different presentation. So this one's actually animated, which is really cool. You got a little bit of an animation on the LCD. which may be hard to see in the video, but it looks like it's kind of showing up. And this one has 3 different RGB zones as well. So moving along from there, we have custom image, so you can actually upload an image to the LCD, and this soft edge setting kind of pads it. So around the edges of the LCD, you're gonna get a nice soft padding there, which I really like. You can change the value here. I haven't messed with it too much yet, but you can change the value, and you could probably get rid of that padding altogether. But it actually looks really nice. And I should mention that in here, let me try to change the brightness a little bit, because in person it doesn't look that washed out as it does in the video, at least to me right now. It actually looks quite nice, so just keep that in mind. The video's not picking it up as nicely as I would like. Let's go ahead and put a different image on here with a bit of a different color palette, and you can change the the sizing of the crop, which is nice. Go ahead and do something like this. Hit OK. Apply, and it does take a few moments to upload a new image, which is fine as long as it works. I'm okay with it. I've had the card for a couple weeks now, and at least once a day I've tried to get this to work. I would say like every day at some point I'd say, all right, let me reinstall RGB Fusion, let me roll back drivers, do this and that. It's finally working, and I might actually uninstall everything just to reinstall everything and document like each step I took. This way I can try to get a tutorial up for those who are still trying to get it to work. But I think the sleep mode trick is what did it, to be quite honest. So there we go. We have the new image on the LCD, looking really nice. Up next we have this custom text, which you have already seen. And what's cool is you can select a different font here. I'm not sure if these are the fonts that are on my computer or if these are built into RGB Fusion. A lot of them don't look familiar. So I believe they're part of RGB Fusion, but I could be wrong about that. Either way, the default Aorus font is really cool. I think it looks nice. You can change if it's bold or italic, change the font size. And then, of course, once you apply it, you can change the color of it as well. Up next, we have a custom GIF with a soft G, because GIF is a peanut butter, but we won't get into that. So this is the one that just comes preloaded on the card. We'll go ahead and apply that. You could do the soft edge on the GIF as well. And I actually really like this one. This is one that displays when you first turn your PC on before you load into Windows, and it takes the settings from RGB Fusion. This is what shows up, and I think it's really cool. I like it. So until I get a custom one to throw on there, this one's pretty nice to use. Finally, we have chibi time. This is what was loaded once I load into Windows. This is what the default was out of the factory. So basically, this chibi levels up as you use your computer, and after a few hours, it's going to be fully leveled up. And each time you restart your PC, it's going to start over. But it's really cool. It's something nice to have. It'd be cool if they expand on this. They probably won't, but if it maybe just stays leveled up, maybe with a level indicator or something cool. I don't know. Over time, over the entire course of the GPU's lifetime, that'd be really cool. But that's kind of asking a lot. But that's it. That's the software. I'm moving it around, so I'm actually ruining the video here because of the way I'm capturing the window. But like I mentioned, once it's working, it's actually really nice software. And if you have it installed, it's not detecting your card, put your PC into sleep mode, wake it up with RGB Fusion already running, and it should detect the card from there. If not, I'm gonna try to get a video up with some kind of comprehensive tutorial. But there's been so much troubleshooting along the way that I'm not sure what actually got it to work. So I wish I could be more helpful there, but until I'm 100% sure how to get it working, I don't want to mislead people. So that's it. If you guys have any questions about the card, let me know. I'm hoping to do some benchmarks soon for different games. So if you have any game ideas, let me know. I have a ton of games installed. There's already so many videos up that are available. This is one that I haven't really seen yet. So I figured I would do it. But yeah, I guess benchmarks would be cool for this specific card because there's not much on it. So let me know what you'd like to see, and I'll try to get to it. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.